Hello viewers, and welcome to our first look at Dirt Rally 2.0, a game Codemasters have been keeping under wraps for some time, certainly hotly anticipated. A surprise in some ways, but not in others. I know a lot of you are looking forward to it, and of course you see the footage here, which is running on the PS4 Pro version. We've got some direct feed of this, as well as a look at the PC version as well to follow. But first we wanted to get a few words from the developers, and here you see a clip from the presentation where they unveiled it, had a trailer. After that, an interview with Ross discussing the development, the details, as well as John here talking about the various handling. We'll be talking to those guys in a future video, John demonstrating some of his skills as well in front of the audience that were there, and very impressive they were too. He really does have a great understanding, a great driver at all levels, and it was really interesting seeing how he throws the car around. We're going to look at this in a lot more detail in part 2 as he discusses the handling characteristics, which can be really important to a lot of you who are really into Dirt Rally. But first, let's hear more from Ross about development of the game, what it's all about.
So our community have been crying out for more Dirt Rally, so it's the perfect time to bring the sequel to the first one. We've got a lot of exciting improvements. We've got new locations, and surface degradation plays a big part in each of those. Depending on where the player is in the running order, they'll find the track camber alters and the amount of rutting out on track. So if you're starting kind of 10th, you've got quite a smooth drive. If you're starting 100th, then it's going to be quite tricky out there. We've also done a lot of work on our tyre compounds, and we have opened up the selection of those to players. So on any given stage they can select which compound they want to run. Obviously advantages and disadvantages of harder and softer compounds based on your driving style. We're also really pleased to be the official game of the World Rallycross Championship. We'll have 8 locations from the official calendar in the game at launch, and we are really grateful to World Rallycross for their kind of expertise and generosity with their time on really making sure that we've accurately represented such a fantastic sport. So one of the things we realised we really wanted to focus on was the way our rear-wheel drive cars handle. So we've done a lot of work with John Armstrong, who's our in-house rally consultant and real-life rally driver, as well as Ryan Champion. The two of them work together to really make sure the car behaves in line with their expectations based on throttle input and the movement around the rear of the car, especially when on loose surfaces. So we've introduced Argentina to this game, which is the most challenging location we've put in a rally game. It really is kind of a surprise round every corner, and you've got to be so careful to listen to your co-driver's pace notes. We've got World Championship winning co-driver Phil Mills doing the co-driver calls in this game, and make sure you listen carefully to what he's saying. I think the thing we're most pleased with is the way we've been able to respond to what the community wanted. We've been able to work with some of our core community guys in a closed beta over the last few months. We've been able to put any of our kind of handling improvements and changes out there, have them feedback and validate what we've been doing, and then we're rolling that into the full release of the game. And I think that kind of working process has been a real pleasure to be part of, and hopefully players will enjoy the results of it. Dirt Rally 2.0 will be released on February the 26th, 2019 on Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC.
So lots of useful information there from Ross in terms of the development. Obviously it's an important title for Codemasters. It's one they want to stick with and grow. I'm going to have a team chat in the coming days when we're going to discuss our reflection on what we've seen on this announcement. And in part 2 we're also going to speak to John as well, who's the rally consultant in terms of really working on the handling and making everything as authentic as possible. No pressure there, John. It really does look like he's done a lot of work in terms of getting the whole feeling of weight right. Throughout this video we'll be looking at front wheel drive cars. It's not one necessarily I enjoy myself, but it works really well in terms of getting the car into the corners and then powering it through the corners, and I suppose for a lot of the guys that were there sort of testing it out for the first time, it was a nice entry level in many respects, not the fastest cars in the world. After that, of course, I've got a video coming up looking at one of the rallycross circuits, and just seeing the development that's been made here as well. No audio on this particular video, unfortunately. The audio that they supplied to us didn't come out, but it doesn't matter. Either way, I can show you a bit of the run and discuss that in a bit more detail as well in terms of handling. But I actually enjoyed the rallycross that was there. It's certainly a lot of fun to play, and using both the wheel and the controller in my upcoming coverage. So big thanks to Ross for his interview. In part 2, we're going to have a chat with John, and then we're going to look at his full run on the stage from New Zealand. Very challenging it is too. But that's it from me for now. As ever, more soon.